Wow, an old Focus ZTS with the cops? Yikes. The Focus ZTS. Can you believe it? This car is almost ready to get a historic license plate. But that's not why we're here on a Sunday. Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. It's the Sunday Rant. And besides that historic Focus, let's talk about what I've been seeing. I just went dark. Okay, so that's better. So let's talk about what's been posted here lately. There was a recent driver that, I don't know, his truck got away from or something, who knows, right? And he crashed into somebody. And there were a number of videos posted that said, well, here's the problem in the industry. Of course, here we go, right? These drivers with these automatic trucks don't know what they're doing. They can't drive because they have an automatic. How does that have anything to do with anything? The truck doesn't have anything to do with anything. How many drivers drive an automatic vehicle to work? You know, when we switched over years ago to buying all automatics, I think we have one manual left there in the yard, maybe. Okay, but we've been buying automatics for many years only, and they said we're going to buy automatics. Drivers, oh, so many of them griped about it, and these are old drivers, right? Old drivers. And I guess I'm getting into that eventually, but someday, once I get into my 40s, oh, I'm going to quit, I can't believe it, or whatever. And, you know, they're still there. And I told them, I go, well, your pickup truck's an automatic. Oh, well, yeah, well, that's my car. Yeah. Very few people actually drive a manual. They don't take the time to buy a manual car. Having a manual or an automatic doesn't make you a good driver. Okay, that doesn't make any difference. You should be able to drive whatever somebody gives you. All right, that's what makes you a better driver. The problem with drivers is people don't get into the industry, I think, with the intention of becoming a very good driver and making it a career. If you don't have any plans on staying, how much effort are you going to put into it? You know, none. Because you're like, well, I'm just going to do this for whatever and get out. And so you don't take the time to think, how's this going to affect me? Why, is this safe? All that. You don't have it in you to be a driver. That's number one. And number two is really companies. They don't enforce safety on drivers. They just roll you through there. They don't have any kind of standards for their trainers. Could be basically anybody. They, as we talk about many times here, and again today, when they put a camera out there, then who coaches you? Somebody that doesn't drive, or you yourself, or the camera, right? So there's no effort into anything. And like I always say, right, they do too much stick and no carrot. Companies are super fast to talk to you. Instant you do something wrong, but never the drivers that are, you know, do the right thing or whatever, never hear about them. They don't take that into consideration because, oh, nothing happened. So the company doesn't notice that. And companies don't have any standards for hiring people. They lower their standard. They'll take people with no experience and people with drug convictions, SAP drivers, as they call it. They'll take everybody now. It doesn't matter. You have 40 tickets. We can work with that. If they demanded the best and only took the best, other people couldn't get in. That's the problem. But when you'll just take anybody, then you get who you get. You have people that don't want to drive, that aren't drivers. I talked about that. When I was training people regularly, many people said no, they don't even like driving, because I'd start asking them, oh, would you like to drive? No, I'm doing this because unemployment sent me, or my wife made me do it, or something like that. I heard this is going to be a good job. My cousin's friend's aunt's nephew does this, and, he's been doing it for 3 weeks already and loves it. That kind of thing. Not, yes, I want to be a driver. I want to stay in the industry. I want to make this a career for myself. There isn't any of that. So there's no effort put in when you're not expecting to stay. We have to totally change who we're getting, who we allow to be drivers, and then raise the standards of testing to similar to maybe European standards, possibly, or even more difficult. When you can go in and take a class for a couple weeks, really with limited drive time, and still pass, how good of a driver are you at that point? You go out with somebody else who hasn't been a driver, There's no training, and so you don't ever get the, ingrained into you idea of being safe. But certainly I think that when drivers post videos that say, well, it's because of, young drivers, you think that trucking's not changed. It's the same drivers. It's just more traffic and stuff like that. So it's always been a problem in the industry. Always. We have to remember how it was. It isn't a manual transmission that makes you a good driver. Although you should be able to drive a manual, that's not what makes you a good driver. All right, that is nothing to do with it. It's all in your head, right? To be safe. That's what I think about it. It isn't the transmission. That's because these people drive automatics. That's not the case. Okay, that does not change if you're a good driver. What about drivers that have been driving for 1,000 years and then suddenly they get an automatic? Are they bad drivers now? No, of course not. Of course not. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. Okay, so that's what I think about that and that video. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with yet another Trucking Answers.